A Dane County community is proposing a wheel tax. We'll tell you how much it could cost and how likely it is to happen.
To open such a grand opening tomorrow is going to be magical.
And coming up a little later, one of Wisconsin's most famous attractions opens for the season after a fire damaged part of it last year. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Thanks for staying with us at 5, everyone. Eric is off this week. Breaking news tops our news at 5. The Dane County Medical Examiner has identified the woman killed in a deadly crash near South Gammon Road and Raymond Road. She's identified as 67-year-old Mary E. Pritchard from Madison. She was pronounced dead at the scene of the March 6th crash. Police say 20-year-old Ryan Bertrand told officers he had been drinking all day. He reached speeds of 90 miles an hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone, hitting the brakes and colliding with Pritchard at 50 miles per hour. He faces up to 97 years and 6 months in prison if convicted. His next court appearance is scheduled for next Tuesday. Tonight is the first and only Supreme Court debate between candidates Brad Schimmel and Susan Crawford. Our Will Keneally is on the site at Marquette Law School for the invitation-only event in Milwaukee. Will?
Hey, Susan, that's right. In just 2 short hours here, we will see the candidates meet through these doors behind me for, as you mentioned, that one and only state Supreme Court debate. Now, we've heard from the campaigns earlier today about some of the barbs that they might trade in this only opportunity that voters will be able to see them side by side. We're expecting them to maybe touch on the opponent's past records, for example, like an abortion case that Schimmel might have handled while he was AG, or an Act 10 case that Susan Crawford might have handled during her private practice. So we'll see that kind of through this hour-long debate, but I also want to take you a little bit behind the scenes here. So the debate will happen behind those doors. Now, behind me here, we're expecting them to come out after the debate for a little bit of spin, so we'll get the opportunity to ask them some questions, have them answer our own questions post-debate, as again, we'll see them take the stage for the first and only time together. So we'll have all of this coming up later at News 3 Now at 10, but for now, reporting from Milwaukee, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, we will see you in a couple hours, Will. Thank you. And as we approach the April 1st election day, we're seeing more campaign efforts from candidates on the ballot. This afternoon, West High School in Madison hosted Dr. Jill Underly, the incumbent superintendent who is running for re-election. The town hall was put together by the West High School Civics Club, talking to Dr. Underly about the future of K-12 education, equity in education, and Underly's campaign for re-election. The event was organized and moderated by students for students, and it aimed to inform the attendees about the state of public education in Wisconsin. Underly commented on how the Department of Public Instruction would be affected by federal funding cuts from the Department of Education.
We get about $1 billion in federal dollars for K-12 alone. We get more when you look at research for higher education. So by removing that funding, it's going to devastate local communities. And we need to do everything we can to support students, and teachers, and families.
West High School hosted a similar event in October where they hosted the candidates for U.S. Senate ahead of November's election. We reached out to Underly's opponent, Brittany Kinzer, to see if she was invited to speak at the town hall, and her campaign team replied, stating, quote, Brittany Kinzer was not invited to this meeting, and the organizers admit that we did not receive it. We hope Jill Underly changes her mind and participates in one of the 3 debates that she has declined. Now let's get a check on the weather. A nice afternoon again at midweek out on the patio, and that's where Alex Harrington is. Hi, Alex.
Hey there, Susan. No jacket tonight. There's not even a breath of wind out here in the patio. So when you got the evening sun that stays out now until about 7 o'clock, and then let's take a look at our current temperatures right now in Madison, 53 and no wind. This is about as good as it gets, in my opinion, for the early to mid part of March. A beautiful day here on our First Warn weather cam image here showing the Edgewater area, downtown Madison, and planning our evening temperatures staying in the 50s and dropping into the 40s with clear skies as we go a little bit further into the overnight period. Temperatures falling down into the lower 30s for lows tonight. Normal low temperatures this time of year are in the lower 20s. Look at this, 53 in Madison, 57 to the west. blast out towards Cross Plains. We'll zoom on out here. We got 59, so almost 60 degrees in the Wisconsin River Valley. But then we trade all the nice stuff for the not such nice stuff. Tracking a line of thunderstorms from late Friday evening into early Saturday. Strong winds the main threat, and it will be a fast-moving line. We'll use Future Track to bring that line into southern Wisconsin and let you know when it will impact your community. That's coming up.
All right, Alex, thank you. The Madison City Clerk is on administrative leave as investigators look into how 200 ballots went uncounted in the November election. City Attorney Michael Haas is taking over the city clerk role on an interim basis. Haas was formerly the administrator and legal counsel to the Wisconsin Elections Commission. In a statement from Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway, she says, given the nature of the issues being investigated, we felt this was a necessary step to maintain public confidence in the operations of our clerk's office. A sad update tonight from the DNR. Necropsy results are in for the snowy owl that was found dead in New Glarus last month. Wildlife officials say the young owl likely died from being emaciated caused by heavy intestinal parasites. Though the bird appeared healthy to onlookers who came to see it, it apparently was struggling to survive. The popular owl attracted daily visitors, you may recall, raising concerns about human impact. However, the experts say no direct human interference was found. The DNR reminds the public to give wildlife space and let nature take its course. You can visit their Keep Wildlife Wild webpage for more information. The city of Fitchburg, in an upcoming Common Council meeting, will be adding a potential wheel tax for the city to its agenda. Our Jalen Banks spoke with the city's former mayor to get his thoughts about a wheel tax.
Speaking with former Fitchburg Mayor Tom Clotter, he shares with me he disagrees with how the city is going about achieving its budget. He feels the potential wheel tax is being proposed because the referendum from the past election did not pass.
Just around my neighborhood where I live, they can't believe it. They said, what doesn't the city know? We just voted down a referendum. Why are we getting taxed for now our cars that we drive?
He also shares that he does not disagree with the budget amount of nearly $30 million, but says he disagrees with how the money will be spent.
The citizens will pay the bill, but exactly where the money goes, they don't have a say.
However, he says he understands the challenges of running a city.
I realize budgets are hard. I do. I ran them. I realize they're hard. But I think you have to prioritize the most important things that the citizens want and stop the wish list.
The Common Council meeting will take place April 8th. There, the board members will vote on the wheel tax with the mayor serving as the tiebreaker. For now, reporting in the News Center, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. Fitchburg residents will have a chance to voice their thoughts and concerns in a public comment at the April 8th meeting. We reached out to the city of Fitchburg for comment, but have not yet received a response. UW Health and Blue Cross Blue Shield have reached an agreement to extend their current agreement through July 1st of this year. This as the organizations work toward a new contract, as the current agreement was set to expire next month. The extension will allow all Anthem Health Plan members to continue receiving in-network coverage at UW Health. Anthem members with any questions can ask questions through the Sydney Health app or by calling the number on their insurance card. Still ahead tonight at 5, Alex has a complete check on the first warn forecast. Also coming up,
the House on the Rock is opening for the season. I've got those details ahead.
And on Wall Street today, some stocks gained after encouraging inflated data, but the ongoing trade war with Canada and China keeps the big three floating between gains and losses. The Dow at the close was down 82 points. The Nasdaq picked up 212. The S&P 500 gained 27. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
One of Wisconsin's most famous attractions, the House on the Rock, is set to open its doors for the season tomorrow. Our Kyle Pozorski has a preview of what you can expect if you plan to go to Spring Green.
For more than 60 years, the House on the Rock has entertained visitors from around the Midwest and even across the country, and now they're getting ready to open up for their 65th year. It was in 1945 when creator Alex Jordan began work on something no one except for him could have ever imagined.
His name isn't really associated with other places. He started as a picnic area, and eventually it became such a passion project, his dad bought the farm that the land was on.
In 1960, Jordan opened his masterpiece to the public, following pressure from his father as well as curious people looking to figure out what exactly was happening out on the Rock. Spokesperson Nancy Schaff tells News 3 Now there's a few things happening at the property this year to get visitors excited for. Following a fire last July, repairs are being made this year to the damaged circus orchestra and bandwagon area.
Right. We were really fortunate. We had 2 team members that were Johnny on the spot putting out the fire, and great local fire department response.
Another area featuring the Moon of Manacora, which was previously retired, is finally being renovated. And finally, several plans are in the works to help celebrate this milestone anniversary.
So we are planning to do something. We're not quite sure of all the details yet, but we're starting it out with a grand day tomorrow and opening.
The only thing left to do now is to mark a date on your calendar to check it all out for yourself. In Spring Green, Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now.
To find dates and times of operation, just head to its website, thehouseontherock.com. Alex, have you ever been there?
Oh, sure. Many times. Looking at the Infinity Room, I had to kind of hold on to my legs here.
Yes.
I'm not good with heights anymore. And speaking of heights, our temperatures, well, we got to transition some way here, will be the highest as we get into Friday. That's out ahead of a big weather system that we're going to get into detail here as well. But we keep that roller coaster going. 40 on Sunday, back to 60 by Tuesday of next week. Each of these days, Friday and Tuesday, are when we're going to be having weather systems moving through southern Wisconsin. But how about the good stuff first? 53, no wind, sunny skies here on our First Warn weather cam, showing a beautiful scene downtown Madison over Lake Mendota. 50s down to the 40s, clear skies. Remember, normal high temperatures this time of year are around 40. Even at 9 o'clock at night, we're going to be having temperatures warmer than our normal highs for this time of year. Overnight lows tonight, low to mid 30s across the area, so we continue to bring those temperatures up and up and up out ahead of this next weather system that's going to bring temperatures as we get into Thursday lower to middle to upper 60s across southern Wisconsin. And winds are not going to be terribly strong on Thursday either, so this is very likely going to be the pick of the week here. Monday was warm, but we had all those strong winds. So the good stuff, mild weather staying all the way through the end of the week, sunny all the way through the day on Friday. Then the storm chance builds in. Let's talk about the alert day conditions. Really no changes here. Friday night going into early Saturday. Strong winds are the main threat. We were talking about that last night here. The risk, though, has changed. We have a level 2 out of 5 risk now for pretty much all of southern Wisconsin. This is a nighttime weather event with strong damaging winds being the main threat. We can't rule out an isolated tornado or two on the leading edge of that line as it races in from the south and southwest. Just updated here, Friday, 9:30 at night, those showers and thunderstorms approaching Platteville to Mineral Point. As we progress east, look at this line here around midnight, stretching from Richland Center to Madison, down to Janesville, and then rapidly moving off towards the east, exiting the WISC viewing area as we head towards about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, with those strong damaging winds again being the most likely threat with this line of showers and thunderstorms, and a few more showers building in as we go into Saturday. So let's recap. That's a lot of information there. Between 8 p.m. Friday and 2 a.m. Saturday, a late night severe weather event looks like it is quite likely. Strong winds, the main threat. It will be a fast moving line of storms as well. So it's not going to take long to move through the area. And of course, right now, I'll just let you know that Blaze and I will be here doing dual coverage if need be, if that line does in fact materialize Friday night going into Saturday. We have a nice St. Patrick's Day in store, temperatures in the 50s, 60s on Tuesday, with rain possibly mixing with and changing to some snow as we go later into Wednesday and Thursday. So feeling very much like it should in March, kind of lion-like right now.
All right, Alex, thank you. A Milwaukee nonprofit that aids refugees is now struggling after federal funding cuts. See how local chefs came together to lend a helping hand when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A Milwaukee nonprofit that helps refugees is now itself in need after federal funding cuts. Some local chefs recently came together to raise some much-needed funds for that nonprofit. Megan Lee reports.
I walked in and I got emotional because it's been a very challenging 60 days.
6 chefs from around Milwaukee collaborated in the kitchen to prepare a dinner that served as a sign of hope.
So it has braised cauliflower this evening, a little bit of fava beans, and a tomato dill salsa.
It gives you faith that, our community is here for us and to support us.
Sheila Bidwan runs Hanan Refugees Relief Group on Milwaukee's South Side. She tells me the Trump administration cut $90,000 in funding for their nonprofit.
This is critical support, rental support, utilities, food, clothing. We are their lifelines for the first 90 days.
The Wokuma dinner was organized after the cuts by Megan Schultz, a local podcaster, to not only raise the critical funds, but also create awareness for the organization.
And we wanted to do something.
The dinner brought people together for one common purpose, helping others.
I think, belts are going to be tightened for a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of folks out there that are looking for funding for things. And I love to see that people in my neighborhood, in my area, are going to step up and give what they can and help out.
Dee Kirschling was one of many who got to taste the delicious food and have deep conversations about welcoming refugees to the United States.
The support in the community is just, you can taste it in the air as well as in the love in the dishes.
It was a night to break bread and help a community in need.
And we'll get a final check of the weather with Alex when we return.
Half the staff has been cut from the Department of Education. You might be surprised what that means for schools and kids.
And Shakespeare wrote, "What's in a name?" For the military families we met, the answer is plenty. That's tonight's Eye on America on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up tonight at 6, are staff cuts coming to the Madison School District next year? Officials say no, but others disagree. We'll break down what it could mean for your student's classroom tonight at 6. Finally at 5, March's full moon is called the worm moon, and it's extra special because it will be a total lunar eclipse, the first in nearly 3 years to be visible across the U.S. That's the good news. The bad news is it's Friday, March 14th. The moon will start to look like a striking red color. It doesn't require special eyewear, and it should start around midnight in our area and reach totality at about 1:30 in the morning and last for over an hour. I say the bad news is it's Friday because that's going to be our stormiest day, right? What about after midnight, though?
After midnight, about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, that line will come through southern Wisconsin. So from Madison and areas southwest, maybe there'll be a little bit of a break in the skies behind those thunderstorms that you might be able to get a sneak peek of it at the end. So fingers crossed with that. Fingers crossed, though, too, Susan, that line of storms that comes through after a very warm day on Friday at 72 degrees. Maybe the line will hold off a little bit, which wouldn't be good for the lunar eclipse, but then we wouldn't get the severe weather threat that we're expecting right now. But timing 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Saturday, strong winds are the main threat. We could have an isolated tornado as well. The line is fast moving, so if it gets out through the area very quickly enough, again, we might get a little bit of clearing behind that late Friday night, somewhere in that 2 o'clock in the morning time frame right at the tail end of that lunar eclipse, and staying active but warm overall for the next 10 days.
This might be the first severe weather of the season,
yes,
right?
It very well could be.
We know you'll keep us posted, Alex. Thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you back here at 6.